Thank you, Russell. And last night we saw the Democrat Party usher in their new leader. We've been talking about this for weeks, but it was made official. When the city of New York elected Zohran Mamdani, he became the new leader of the Democrat Party. And while the Democrat Party had no problem making the shift to socialism, which they embraced wholeheartedly, led by Hakeem Jeffries and others here, America, mainstream Americans, blue dog Democrats across America have not embraced socialism. America is not a socialist nation. You know, when the speaker mentioned that, is it any surprise that last night blue states voted blue? We're talking Virginia, New Jersey, New York. By the way, none of those were swing states. You had 7 swing states in the election a year ago today. And by the way, we celebrate that a year ago today, Donald Trump was elected president of the United States. And when he ran on very specific things, not socialism. 7 out of 7 swing states rejected that form of socialism that has now taken over the Democrat Party. What President Trump and House Republicans ran on was delivering results for American families. We said we would secure the border, and we actually delivered on that in record time. We said we would prevent a tax increase on anybody. Every American, no matter what income level you were at, you were facing a tax increase, in many cases a 30% or larger tax increase. We said we wouldn't do it. The Democrats bragged that they were going to raise your taxes. And the American people decided that, not New York City. The American people a year ago decided they didn't want a tax increase, and we followed through on that by preventing the largest tax increase on American families. Also by delivering no tax on tips, no tax on overtime. For seniors, 85% of whom will not have to pay taxes on their Social Security income when you factor in the deduction. We delivered on that. Every Democrat, by the way, voted no, because Democrats don't want hardworking Americans to keep more of their money. They want socialism. And let's think about those hollow promises that Zohran Mamdani talked about last night. Can anybody wait to see what those free buses are going to look like? I'm sure they're going to be incredibly safe and clean when you ride the free buses. Can anybody wait to see what those government-run grocery stores are going to look like? Shelves unstocked, expired food. I'm sure the friendliness of those employees that are government employees at those grocery stores. That's what socialism does. Socialism always overpromises and underdelivers. But should we be surprised? That's what Democrats up here in Washington have been doing for years. Does anybody remember the Inflation Reduction Act? Yes, that was a Democrat-created product that ushered in record levels of inflation. Where was the inflation reduction? They have no problem lying to the American people. Does anybody remember, by the way, the Affordable Care Act? Yes, that was Democrats only creating current health care law. The law of the land in health care today is Democrat-only created Affordable Care Act. That's anything but affordable. All we've seen is 80% increases in costs for families, record profits for insurance companies, but 80% increases on families. Democrats have never had a problem lying to the American people, overpromising to the American people, and never delivering the goods. And you contrast that with Republicans. Again, a year ago today, we ran on very specific things, and we've already, working with Donald Trump, ushered in a new level of American greatness. And it's not just here in America. We're finally starting to see that leadership around the world that we've been so desperately lacking when President Trump starts getting peace agreements in Middle Eastern countries, in other places. It's about delivering on promises for the American people. And all we're seeing during this shutdown is Democrats scared to death of the Mamdani wing of the party. They've said it. Some of them said it out loud. But they have exercised it in their votes. They voted time and time again to keep the government shut down, knowing they're inflicting suffering and pain on the American people, admitting that they're using that suffering to try to get leverage. They still can't tell you what the leverage is for. Leverage for what? To go boast to the socialist Mamdani wing of their party that they're fighting Donald Trump, who was elected not by the people of New York or New Jersey or Virginia, but by a majority of Americans, 77 million Americans, 7 out of 7 swing states, running on very specific things that that president, Donald Trump, and this Republican majority have continued to deliver on. We're going to keep delivering wins for the American people, and Democrats will continue to give the hollow promises of socialism that come along with the failures of socialism that it truly delivers for people. And yeah, people in New York, when they realize how bad socialism is, they can just leave like they've been doing for years. They can move to states like Florida, to Texas. They can even come to Louisiana. But if they ruin America, if they're able to take hold with socialism in America, where else are people going to go? There is no plan B to this great United States of America, and we're not going to let socialism take over in this great country. With that, I bring up our whip, Tom Emmer.